welcome to Talking with Greenhills on Waycross Community Media. I'm Dana Gagnon, Government Programming Coordinator, and today in our studio, we are going to get to meet two of the newest officers to join the Village of Greenhills Police Department. Thank you two for coming in.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
I really appreciate it. I wanted to make sure that everyone in the village got a chance to meet you kind of remotely here through this program, so that when they see you walking around the village, they know who you are and they can come and say hello and just know that these are people I can call when I need something. So let's start by introducing yourselves. We'll start with you, Blake.
Hey, so my name is Officer Mayberry. My first name is Blake. However, right here on my name tag, it's B. Mayberry. So depending on the age I'm talking to, I will say my name is Barney. And that will usually, I'll be able to tell kind of your age because you'll either be like, why do you compare yourself to a purple dinosaur? Or they will laugh, and then I'll be like, okay, they know what I'm talking about.
I have to admit that I wasn't going to make any Mayberry references, but you went there for me. So
no, absolutely. And
because I'm obviously of the age past the purple dinosaur.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, like, my department, I'm so happy they trusted me with more than one bullet. So that's nice.
I mean, we're really, so if you're from Greenhills and you're watching this, it's not really Barney. It's really Blake, but he gets it, so you know. He gets it.
I get the reference.
And how about you?
Yeah, my name is Officer Young. I also have a B in my my name tag here, but you can just call me Brandon, not Barney. If you do call me Brandon, that's fine. I go by first name basis. That's okay with me.
So let me ask you guys a couple questions. First of all, Blake, how long have you been with the department so far?
Yeah, so I'm actually coming up on 1 year here in about a month. So that's really exciting. And a little bit of my background is there's a program called Police Explorers, and I joined that at the age of 14. So from 14 to age 21, I was already preparing for this career.
That's really neat to hear, because sometimes people see a new officer and they think, okay, well, what kind of history of experience do you have? You have a lot more history of experience preparing for this position than folks might guess.
I've had a lot of, during those years and then a little bit after that, had a lot of like training, scenario-based training and things like that.
And just going to repeat, you've been there almost a year.
Yes.
So I know we haven't all seen the new officers in Greenhills because of the pandemic, but you're not the new guy.
I am not. And a lot of times, I am our third shift officer. So if you are out just during the day, you will not see me. And if you call at night and I show up, you're like, oh, I have a new officer. No, I've been here for a year. You just don't see me because I'm always out when the sun is not.
So what is your experience with Greenhills so far this past year?
Yeah, so my experience is, like I said, third shift. So I see it when all the street lights are on and everything. But I like driving around. I like being able to see, I make mental notes of like when people start their car to go to work and who's out walking, who walks regularly and things like that.
That's important because that helps you know when something that's not normal is happening.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the neat things about the department in Greenhills is that you're such a small community that you know the people and the neighborhoods that you're interacting with.
Sure. And when I'm not answering calls, that's what I try to do is I try to drive. I try to hit every street in Greenhills per shift just so I know, hey, this car looks out of place. Like, I've not seen this car parked here before. So I like to try to do that.
And Officer Young, how long have you been with the department so far?
I've been with Greenhills for about 9 months now. I think a little over 8.5, I'd say. Unlike Blake, I was not in a Police Explorer program. I went to college for chemistry, actually. Decided to change careers. One of my friends was a police officer, and he was telling me some cool stories about, what he does during the day. And I was like, man, that sounds awesome. That sounds like a fun job. So I was like, I should try it out. And well, here I am, 8.5 months, 9 months later. I am happy as can be. I love Greenhills for what it is here.
What inspired you to go from chemistry to police department?
Really, it was just a change of pace. I feel like working in chemistry is kind of like being in school. You're behind a desk, you're working on a computer all day. It seems kind of very tedious, and there's not a change of stuff. It's in police, I mean, every day is different, every hour is different. You see things that most people won't, and I think that's what I liked about the job as a police officer.
And Blake, the same for you. I know you did the Explorer for many years, but what inspired you to start down that path of, I want to do police work?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually knew from a very young age I wanted to do this job. I know sometimes if you ask a young child, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's usually a police officer, fireman, or astronaut. And my answer was always police officer. Okay. I don't know. I just liked it from a young age. Just liked watching a lot of cop shows and things like that growing up. And by doing the Explorer program, it just helps solidify that, yes, this is what I want to do.
If there are little kids watching and they are thinking the same thing as little kid Blake, and they're thinking, I want to be a police officer, what are things you would tell them that they can do to get ready for that?
Yeah, I would say try to do your best in school, but try to seek help if you're having trouble in a certain subject of school. Just try to stay, kind of live a pure life. Try not to get in too much trouble. Obviously, stay away from drugs and things like that. But just try to be a good character and just.
Yeah, that's good advice for whatever they pick, I think. But I think that would be especially helpful if they want to go into law enforcement. Do you have any special tips for these kids?
Yeah, I'd say, be active, be physically fit. I think what the recommendation is hour a day of physical activity. I'd say that's a good start. Make sure you are connected with people, have friends. Make sure you are able to socialize. This kind of job, you have to talk to people, and that is a big thing. Just being able to talk and having friends is the easiest way to accomplish that. So
that's a really good point. It's not just the skill set that you see on the job application of, can you do this, this, and this. Yeah. You are interacting with people, and they're all different kinds of people every day in different kinds of, and many times very stressful situations. So you want to make sure you have some extra practice and skills just working with people.
Yeah, a lot of people know the word de-escalation, and the best way to de-escalate a situation is simply by talking.
And that's something Chief has talked about before in the studio. Your department has so much training. Sometimes people hear, oh, it's a small village police force, and they don't realize that you are a model for other departments in the area. We're
CALIA certified, and our chief holds at a high account. And so we're always doing online trainings. Here coming up next week, me and Brandon are going to a training together. We're always trying to improve who we are.
Now that you've both been at Greenhills for a little while, is there something about the village that has surprised you that you didn't expect about it since you've been spending so much time?
Definitely. I think seeing people multiple times, not necessarily for a bad thing. Sometimes there are people walking their dog you see every day. It's a habitual thing for them. You see them, you wave, they wave back. I think that's something that you don't see in a lot of communities. Our residents, they like to wave. I never understood that when I first started. I was like, people are waving to me. People will like me. Most big cities, that's not really a thing. And this is, something that blew me away. I mean, it's astonishing. It really is.
That is a really good observation. And it's true. The village we're inside the 275 belt. It's kind of the city of Cincinnati, but it's not. The village of Greenhills really is its own little community.
Yeah.
And people wave at you, and they want to. There's a lot of dogs.
Yes, there is a lot of dogs. Yes. I like to pet as many dogs as I can.
Okay, that's good to know. Greenhills folks, they would like to meet your dogs. So
That's right.
I would imagine that would be helpful, actually, to make sure, just like you want to make sure kids feel safe coming up to you when they need help, I would imagine that you wouldn't want someone's pets to get in the way of you trying to help someone too, that you want to make sure they know you.
Yeah, especially when they escape from their backyard or wherever.
Yes.
We actually get that quite a bit, loose dogs.
Okay.
And if we can approach the dog without them barking, then oftentimes we can see if they have a collar, get up close to them, pet them. And then oftentimes we'll put them in the back of our patrol car and bring them back to your house. So it's really important that you have a collar on.
Yes. And that you make sure it's good for them to come and meet you and make friends so that they know they're going to a friend.
Yep.
And that's all most of the dogs want. I have met, I'm spoiled because I get to cover events in Greenhills. And I admit you will always see camera footage of the dogs at an event. And that's usually because I'm holding the camera. So if you watch any of that Greenhills event footage and you see dogs in there, you don't have to wait to the end to see who the camera operator was. It was me. There are some beautiful dogs in Greenhills.
Yes, there are.
What is your favorite thing? And I'm sure it's not the dogs, really. I spent far too much time on that. But what is your favorite thing about being on the force in the village?
Go ahead, Blake.
All right. Yeah, my favorite thing is, I know we've already kind of mentioned it before, it's just being able to know the community. Like I said, I don't have the advantage of getting to meet everybody because I'm third shift. However, I still know like the little ins and outs of the village. So it just better prepares me for my job and just being more cognizant and aware of what's happening in the village during the night.
And how about you, Brandon?
Yeah, there's plenty of good things I love about Village. I mean, I love the small community. I love being able to know people and, doing as much as I can to make sure that they stay safe and are able to enjoy their lives in Greenhills. Even so much as our website, our Greenhills Police Department website. I am in charge of adding content to the police department page. All of our upcoming events and ideas that police officers have on how to prevent crime and deter crime. This is updated quite frequently, maybe once a month or however often we come up with ideas. There's some great tips on there that are from officers and are there for your safety.
And I will take a minute to say that residents who haven't been to the Greenhills Police Department's website, you update it frequently. Chief has a newsletter he sends out. So if you want to find out, and the newsletter is not just which officer got an award, which happens, and officers get awards. There are amazing stories about some of your responses on some of the calls and ways you have impacted lives. I'm not going to give those away. You have to go read them on the newsletter. Or you can hear them when Chief gives his report at the village meetings too, which you can watch on Waycross, so there's a plug. But also events. You have, if folks are thinking, well, how do I get to meet these people in a not stressful situation? You have Cooking with the Cops in the summer. You did that last year. I know it's coming back.
Yep.
Yeah, Cooking with Cops, Park Talks. That's when residents can come and kind of voice their concerns of things they would like to see added to the village.
And I think there's going to be a new one of playing games with the cops. It's in the works, but that's something to look forward to as well.
You guys will have game night. You are present and out to meet the public every time the village has like a harvest festival or light up Greenhills or anything like that.
Yeah, especially me. I try to be at those events just because, like I said, I don't get to meet a lot of the residents. So that's kind of my opportunity to get to meet you.
I'll say too, at Light Up Greenhills, you had cookies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't guarantee they'll have cookies again. I mean, that's a long way away, but that's a reason to keep an eye out for these things.
We'll see what we can do.
You never know if they'll have cookies. And they were buskin cookies, weren't they?
They were good.
Yes,
Yeah,
they were.
that was worthwhile. And And there's just a Warrior Academy with high school kids, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of things coming.
So I don't have all those details, but they'll be on that website.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Is there anything in particular that if you just wish you could tell the Greenhills residents about yourself, about the department, or just anything you want to kind of leave them with?
Yeah. So I would say to save 2 numbers in your phone contacts. I would save the Hamilton County Dispatch non-emergency number, and then save in your phone Greenhills Police Department, because we actually there's a lot of times I feel like residents, I'm a big, you see something, say something. So a lot of times I feel like residents will see something, but they're like, I want to tell the police, but I don't want to call 911. We'll call our police department, because if we're not inside our police department, it kicks over to a cell phone that we carry. So we are trying to be available as much as possible for our residents. So if you see something and you're like, I don't want to call 911, call the non-emergency number for Hamilton County, or call us directly.
Okay, that's really, putting them in your phone is a really good idea.
Put them in your phone, because when something happens or you see something, you're like, I want to call, then you have to get on Google or whatever browser and look up the phone number. Whereas if you save it in your contacts, it's ready.
And if you're in a parking lot somewhere, and you're not sure if something's happening or not, but
just call and we'll come and investigate. And sometimes it is something, sometimes it's not.
And I used to tell people to put those numbers on the refrigerator, because I realized I'm old, and in the old days your phone didn't move, so it was fine. It was near the refrigerator. So that's a really good point. We're not standing next to our refrigerator anymore, so put those numbers in your phone.
Absolutely.
And you'll have them. How about you, Brandon?
I'm on the same board with Officer Mayberry here. See something, say something. Greenhills, being such a small village, we have time to investigate crimes. We have the time to go out there and investigate and, get the details. Bigger departments, they usually don't have all that time. They're going from call to call to call. In Greenhills, we will go above and beyond to find a solution for problems that you might have. And I think that's the best thing about Greenhills. And that's something you can always call our number about, or talk to an officer about.
And that's the bottom line, is that when they call those non-emergency numbers, they're not bothering you. You want to hear from them.
Absolutely.
And that's how you get to know what's happening. And the worst thing is for someone to say, has anyone called about this? This has been going on for a very long time, and everybody thought somebody else called about it.
Yeah, we actually have there's a village Facebook page that residents started, and a lot of times they will voice their concerns on Facebook, but they won't ever contact us directly to let us know. So I'm a big just call us, make us aware of what you're seeing.
That's a really good point, because I think some people I think this came up at a council meeting too, is that folks that feel like I said something, but where they put it on Facebook or Twitter, or they chatted with a neighbor or something like that. But the people who can actually answer the questions are in that village building over there. You guys, you can investigate things, or if it has to do with the village itself, it's the office.
The administration
office. And you guys aren't necessarily on Facebook, so make sure you're not bothering them. Make sure you let them know if you see something, or if you are bothering them. Dana said to call them, so that's fine. Just give them a call. They gave us the number. It's all good now. So
and if we don't answer the phone, leave a voicemail. We will check it. We will check voicemails.
Yeah. So. Good. You'll check the voicemail. Don't assume that you'll check the Facebook page, but you'll check the voicemail. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming into the studio. Really just taking a few minutes to make sure that the residents get to see you and hear you. And hopefully that makes them that much more comfortable when they see you in the village and they can chat with you and just say hello.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
And thank you for watching. That means you're interested in knowing what's going on in your village. And I look forward to seeing you next time.